love. You know that person you fell in love with, ukiwa form 1, ama at class 8, ama class 7, the one you thought you would end up together with, the one you sat down with and you wrote baby names together. Where are they right now? You know, I have heard of cases where people reconnect with their first loves and then it works out again. But when it is happening in that moment, there are very many reasons why it doesn't work out. And at the top of the list is, y'all are just too young. You're too young to have a relationship. You're too inexperienced. You're too immature for a relationship and what a relationship comes with. You don't know how to put each other first, to prioritize each other, or maybe one person loves the other more than the other person. But I feel like those formative years, those, you know, in your childhood, you're in your teenage years to young adult years, those should be formative years. No relationships, just vibes, just you experimenting, just you trying to know what works for you. But when you now have your first love in these years, hapa unapatanga ile heartbreak, the one where you cry until you have a balloon coming from your nose. Those first loves, woo, they can finish you. And unfortunately, they do like set a precedent to who you're going to be dating or what you're going to tolerate or not tolerate. So yeah, it didn't work out because you were so young.
I feel like my first relationship was a little too intense, and that was part of the reason that it just had to end. You know, you get to have these unrealistic expectations and you idealize everything. Like, y'all are just walking in the middle of the night. Munatembea. Yani, we used to walk. Tulikuwa tunatembea kamulu mzima. Hey, I'm telling you, my 10K steps zilikuwa zinakuwa met every day because I had to see my boo. I had to see my husband, the love of my life, the rock of my foundation. That was the father of my kids, baby. The father of my kids. And I think even the unrealistic expectations that we had for each other was also part of the problem, because you exaggerate how far this relationship is gonna go. And even when things are wrong, you still infantilize it. No, sorry, you still push the narrative that we are supposed to be together forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And I remember, I think my first boyfriend was called Thayo Kamau. He was a rich kid, very tall, very light-skinned. Alikuwa very, very handsome, very good-looking man. Now I don't know what he looks like. He could look like the bottom of I don't know. Thayo, you know, Thayo, I hope you're still handsome. I hope for you and your whatever, you're still very good looking. But back then, he was very good looking. And in my mind, I could picture my children with Thayo Kamau. In fact, he went so far as to say, let's have children when you're 20, so that you forget this chapter of children. When you're in your 22s, 23s, you're working and nonsense promises and confusions. What if I got pregnant at 20? Tungeambiana nini Thayo Kamau? Wait. Madness. So stop it. Stop it. Stop thinking that the first love of your life is going to be the final one. Maybe in some very rare cases they are, but don't over invest your thoughts and your life in this particular person. Just go with it. Pole pole tu.
And also, as we have mentioned, that these years are your formative years.
Are.
This is the time for personal growth. Yes. This is the time you're thinking about where I'm starting my career, what educational opportunities I'm going to take, because this time, especially when you're in love with, you know, your neighbor, the boy from your village, and then you're like, but I do want to go to school in another country. I want to go abroad for my studies. I want to go to university in a different county. But that becomes an obstacle for your relationship, because all of a sudden, what do you mean you're going to Kisumu and our relationship is thriving over here in Mombasa? That makes absolutely no sense. So I feel like it kind of hinders you. If you really focus on your first love in these years, it just hinders how you turn out as a person, because you may not be able to pursue what you want because you want to be there for your boo. Okay? And that's very unfortunate.
Another one is, what do you know about communication when you're 12, when you're 15, when you're 16? What do you know about communication? And one of the bedrocks of a good relationship is that you have to consistently communicate with your partner. Now, the problem is, y'all don't even know how to speak to each other. Like when you're angry, umejam to everything is acting out of an anime and what do you call these Korean
out of a
movie? It's out of a
fantasy.
K-drama. Like you saw that she got mad and she walked away and the man chased after her in the rain. And that's the exact thing that you expect for your man to do. Like every
Omondi does not
single
want to catch a
thing
cold.
is blown out of proportion simply because you have this ideals of what your relationship should look like. If I'm mad at you, you're supposed to follow me, come to my window in the middle of the night and throw pebbles, you know, the boombox situation. It's like everything is dramatized completely. But because you don't know how to articulate things, you also don't want to say something to them and then they get mad at you. Like everything is so delicate. It's like eggshells consistently. So that in itself is part of the reason why these relationships don't work. You do not know how to communicate your feelings, your emotions, and clarify things. You just want things to be like in this bubble of cushioning of love. Can't work like that.
And also, y'all forget about the external pressures.
Ish, my goodness.
It might be you against the world. It is us against the world. And that is usually the appeal of these relationships because it's just me and you, babe. Nobody can tell us nothing. But also because you're very young at this point, of course, there's pressure from everyone around you. First of all, your father has become an athlete. This is the time he's going to be chasing Kamau every time. Every time he sees Kamau, he just picks up his shoe and chases after him. Anytime Mama Kamau sees you, she says you're a witch. You want to mislead her son. As in, there's just a lot of this. But unfortunately, all of this, you know, pressure from outside, you know, I have to do better in school. I have to show up for my family. I have to show up for my friends. I have to figure out what I'm doing with my life. But also, you know, the fact that you're in this fantasy world with you and your boo, nothing else matters. And it is usually very unfortunate that some of people get lost in the sauce. They're like, it's just me and you against the world. And you get carried away by this narrative and you vilify everyone else around you. They are bastards. They don't want the best for me and you. But you forget that we are older. We are from the outside looking in. We have years of experience. So when your mom tells you, wewe achana na mambo ya love saizi, wacha nikwambie, ukikuwa mkubwa utafanya mambo ya love hadi uchoke. Unaona tu, it is because you're wearing a kiremba. You don't know what me and Kamau have. Y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. So I feel like that pressure, in sort of, you know, giving you guys perspective, it usually just makes everyone else the villain, and it's just me and my baby. We're gonna figure it out.
I'll never forget saying those exact words. Me and my man. When my mom was telling me, I saw Kamau. Literally, I saw Kamau with a kagal, and I'm not sure, and I've been seeing him with that kagal. I'm like, Mom, why are you trying to break us up? Stupid Mumu. Kamau was cheating on me 2 years out of a 5-year relationship. Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful things. Exploration and curiosity is another thing that you realize that over time you grow out of each other. Your experiences kind of you overshot your young relationship, and now you're in a position where you're curious about other things, you're curious about other people, you're curious about other experiences. Oftentimes, like, I think in my case, I was not necessarily willing to go the full-on sexual experience, and the other person was very curious about it. But we were very young. What did we know? Surely, what do you know? So I said, I'm gonna stay a virgin. He said, I'm gonna be a hoe. And that's how it ended. Curiosity. He was curious about sex and sexual intimacy with other people, and I wasn't. So it ended that relationship. Other things you end up finding out is, like, you realize that maybe y'all are going different ways, you know? Like, you are, as Turi has said, you're going to university now in a different school somewhere in the UK. Me, I'm still stuck here in Nairobi. What are we going to do? You know, you can't carry me with you in your suitcase. Much as I would have wanted to be carried in a suitcase, I can't. It just isn't what it just cannot work that way. So exploration and curiosity also is a huge reason why first loves don't work out.
Exactly. And I know we have hammered in on you if you're watching us right now.
Oh, poor
and
girl.
just like over there booed up with your man. I'd like to hold your hand when I say this. He's not the one. Trust me.
He ain't it.
He ain't the father of
He
the
ain't-
children.
he ain't.
Okay, it's time to leave him. Let go. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful time. But